Picture this. It's award night. The envelope tears open, and suddenly an R&B song that made you cry in your car becomes immortal. But here's what nobody tells you about these 12 Grammy winners.
Could be there for you.
The stories behind them are darker than the songs themselves. Stolen sessions, label sabotage, artists recording while falling apart, and one song that won 4 Grammys but was built on theft and erasure. By number 1, you'll understand why a Grammy win caused a backstage fistfight and nearly ended 2 legendary careers. Number 12, I Can't Stop Loving You by Ray Charles.
One day, but right now.
Number 12 takes us back to 1961, when most award shows wouldn't even acknowledge R&B existed as legitimate music. They called it race records. They segregated it onto separate charts. But then Ray Charles did something revolutionary. He took a country song,
I'll just live my life.
a white country song, and he didn't just cover it, he transformed it so completely that when I Can't Stop Loving You hit the airwaves, people forgot the original ever existed. The Grammy voters had a problem. They'd spent years pretending R&B wasn't real music. But Ray's version was selling so massively, dominating pop radio so completely, that they couldn't ignore it. So they gave him Best Rhythm and Blues Recording in 1963. Here's the part that'll blow your mind. Ray recorded this entire song in one take. 1. At the vocal you hear, with all those devastating emotional inflections, all that controlled pain, he nailed it on the first try. The musicians in the studio said he went into some kind of trance state. Eyes closed behind those iconic sunglasses, swaying slightly, channeling something none of them had ever witnessed before.
I'm gonna live my life.
But the real drama? His label, ABC Paramount, didn't want him to record it at all.
That's when I know I'll be.
They thought a blind black man singing country music would destroy his career. Ray threatened to walk. He told them, I'll record what I want, or I'll record nothing.
I'm gonna live my life in dreams.
That defiance won him the Grammy, but it cost him something too. We'll get to that later, because one artist on this list learned from Ray's rebellion and paid an even steeper price.
It's useless to say.
Number 11, I Can't Help Myself by the Four Tops, 1965. Entry 11 is where the gloves came off, where Motown stopped playing nice. I Can't Help Myself by the Four Tops. Grammy for Best R&B Performance. Seems straightforward, right? Happy song, infectious hook, classic Motown production. Wrong.
When I call your name, girl.
Lead singer Levi Stubbs recorded that vocal while going through a breakdown. His marriage was collapsing. He'd been touring for 11 months straight.
It starts to flame, burning in my heart, turning up.
Berry Gordy had them on a schedule so punishing that Levi was sleeping 3 hours a night.
No matter how I try, my love, I cannot.
And the song they wanted him to sing was this upbeat, joyful thing about being helplessly in love.
Leaving just your.
The producers, the legendary Holland Dozier Holland team, saw Levi walk into Hitsville, USA, looking like death.
Tied to your apron string. And
They almost postponed the session, but Berry Gordy had a rule. The schedule is the schedule. Ask no exceptions.
should be. I can't help.
So Levi stood at that microphone, completely hollowed out, and sang the happiest sounding desperation you've ever heard.
Can't help myself. I love you.
Listen closely to that record now. Underneath the sugar, there's something frantic. Something like drowning while smiling.
Myself. I'm a fool in love.
The Grammy voters heard a hit. They didn't hear a man in crisis.
Your eye, I come running to you.
Here's what makes this entry crucial. Levi's vocal technique on this song That Thing, where he sounds both joyful and desperate, simultaneously became a blueprint. Every R&B singer who came after him studied this record. They heard how he layered emotion, how he made contradiction feel urgent. But nobody knew the contradiction was real. The Four Tops performed this song at the Grammy ceremony. Levi Stubbs smiled the entire time. Backstage, his hands were shaking so badly, his wife had to light his cigarettes for him. And you know what's haunting? One singer later on this list watched that performance as a teenager, studied every move Levi made. And years later, when it was their turn to smile through catastrophe at an award show, they remembered exactly how Levi did it.
Quick question, are you subscribed? If not, you're part of the 99% who watch and disappear. Here's the problem, YouTube won't show you our next video unless you subscribe. So if you want more untold music stories like this, hit that button right now, 2 seconds, do it before you forget.
Number 10, Respect by Aretha Franklin, 1968. Number 10 is the song that almost started a war between two record labels. Aretha Franklin. Respect, Grammy for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance and Best Rhythm and Blues Recording. But here's what you don't know. Otis Redding wrote that song, recorded it first, and his label, Vault Records, was absolutely convinced he'd win the Grammy for it. Then Aretha took his song, flipped the entire perspective, added those iconic spelled-out letters, and created something so powerful that Otis himself said, "That girl took my song." The recording session was chaos. Jerry Wexler, the producer, had booked 3 hours at Atlantic Studios in New York. Aretha showed up with an arrangement in her head, just in her head, nothing written down, and told the musicians, "Follow me." The piano part? She played it herself. Those background vocals spelling out the title. Her sisters, Irma and Carolyn, who she'd brought without telling anyone. The engineers were scrambling to set up extra microphones while Aretha was already recording. They captured it in 2 takes. When the Grammy nominations came out, Otis Redding wasn't even nominated for his original version, only Aretha. The rumor around Memphis where Otis recorded was that he was devastated, not because Aretha won, because his own label hadn't pushed his version hard enough to even get nominated. 3 months after Aretha won those Grammys, Otis Redding died in a plane crash. He was 26 years old. Years later, Aretha said in an interview that winning for Respect felt complicated. She never fully explained what she meant by that. But people who were there, aren't in the studio that day, said she kept the Grammy for that song in a different room from her other awards, away from the rest, like it carried weight the others didn't. And here's the thread we need to follow. That idea of taking someone else's song and making it so completely yours that the original becomes a footnote. Another artist on this list did exactly that. But instead of respect and admiration, it ended in a lawsuit that destroyed a friendship. We're getting there. Number 9, Ain't No Mountain High Enough by Diana Ross, 1970. Entry 9 is where the music industry's ugly machinery became visible. Ain't No Mountain High Enough by Diana Ross. Grammy nomination for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance, didn't win the Grammy, but won an American Music Award and dominated the charts so thoroughly that it deserves recognition here.
Can't stop me, babe.
But this isn't Diana's song either. Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell recorded the definitive version 3 years earlier. So why does Diana's matter for this list?
That used to touch you all so tenderly. Just remember what I told
Because of what Motown did to get it made, Berry Gordy was grooming Diana for superstardom.
you to keep me from you.
Solo superstardom, away from the Supremes, he needed a massive hit for her debut album, so he took a song that was already beloved, already associated with 2 other Motown artists, and reassigned it. And Marvin Gaye found out when he heard it on the radio. Nobody told him it was being re-recorded. Nobody asked permission. He called Berry Gordy, and the conversation, according to people at Motown, got heated enough that Marvin punched a wall and broke 2 fingers.
To keep me from you.
Tammy Terrell couldn't call anyone. She died the year before, at 24, from a brain tumor. Diana's version is magnificent. The production is lush, sophisticated, more cinematic than the original. Her vocal is controlled perfection. The arrangement builds like a movie score. It's a masterpiece. But it's also grave robbery. When Diana performed it at award shows, Marvin refused to attend. He told friends, "I can't watch that." Not because the performance was bad, because every time he heard Diana sing Tammy's part, he saw his friend dying in a hospital bed. The music industry didn't care. The song made millions. Diana became a solo icon, and everyone involved learned a lesson. Sentiment is expensive. Catalog is forever. Remember this entry.
Thank you.
Because another artist on this countdown faced a similar choice: perform someone else's song to guarantee a win, or stick with their own material and risk losing everything. Their decision shocked everyone. Number 8. Papa Was a Rolling Stone by The Temptations, 1972.
Papa was a rolling stone.
Number 8 is the award that proved R&B could be dangerous. Papa Was a Rolling Stone by The Temptations. Grammy for Best R&B Performance by a duo or group with vocals.
Well, remember, yes I will.
12 minutes long in its original form, an epic condemnation of absent fathers, broken homes, and generational trauma.
Oh, that was the day that my dad.
Built on one hypnotic bass line that repeats for the entire song like a funeral march. The Temptations hated it, not the song itself, the recording process. Producer Norman Whitfield had become obsessed with this new psychedelic soul sound. He'd lock the group in the studio for 18 20-hour sessions, make them sing the same lines 60, 70 times.
Wherever he laid his hat was his home.
He was chasing perfection, but the Temptations felt like prisoners.
Only left us alone.
Dennis Edwards, who sang lead, and said Whitfield would play mind games, tell him his vocal wasn't emotional enough, that he sounded fake, that he was embarrassing himself.
Mama just hung her head and said, son.
Then he'd make Dennis sing it again, and again, until Dennis was so frustrated and angry that the emotion became real.
Wife, and that ain't right.
Heard some talk.
That Grammy-winning vocal, it's fury. Dennis Edwards channeling genuine rage at being manipulated. The song's subject matter was radioactive too.
Hey, mama, is it true what this?
Papa Was a Rolling Stone talked openly about absent black fathers at a time when the government was using that exact stereotype to justify cutting social programs.
Say that Papa never worked a day in his life.
Conservative politicians quoted the song in speeches arguing against welfare. The Temptations received death threats.
And stealing in the name of the Lord.
Black activist groups accused them of reinforcing negative stereotypes. White radio stations used it as proof that black family values were broken. Aunt Norman Whitfield didn't care. He told reporters, "We're telling the truth. If the truth makes people uncomfortable, good." The Grammy win legitimized that approach. It told artists, you can be political, you can be uncomfortable, you can make the audience squirm as long as you make them feel. One artist on this list took that lesson to heart, recorded a song so brutally honest about addiction and self-destruction that their label refused to release it.
Mama looked up with a tear in her eye and said, "Son."
They fought for 2 years. When they finally won and the song became a hit, it cost them everything. We're almost to that story. Number 7, Sexual Healing by Marvin Gaye, 1982. Entry 7 is the comeback that shouldn't have been possible. Sexual Healing by Marvin Gaye. Grammy for Best Male R&B Vocal Performance and Best R&B Instrumental Performance. But to understand why this matters, you need to know where Marvin was when he recorded it. Bankrupt, hiding in Belgium to avoid the IRS cocaine addiction so severe his hands shook constantly. His marriage to Berry Gordy's sister had imploded spectacularly. He'd walked away from Motown after 20 years, convinced his career was over. A Belgian promoter offered him refuge and a small studio in Ostend. No pressure, just a quiet place to maybe make music again, if he felt like it. Marvin set up a bedroom studio, brought in a drum machine, new technology at the time, unusual for R&B, and started building tracks alone. I'm at 3 in the morning, while snow fell outside. Sexual Healing emerged from one of those sessions, completely different from anything Marvin had done before. Sparse, electronic, vulnerable in a way that felt almost inappropriate. His new label, Columbia, heard the demo and panicked. Where were the strings? Where was the Motown gloss? This sounded like bedroom funk, too intimate, too raw. Marvin told them, "This is what I've got. Take it or leave it." They took it, reluctantly. The song became his biggest hit in over a decade. The Grammy wins re-established him as relevant. He performed it at the ceremony, looking healthier than he had in years, smiling that famous Marvin smile. 14 months later, his father shot him to death in their family home. The Grammy performance was one of the last times anyone saw Marvin Gaye look happy. Music critics have analyzed Sexual Healing endlessly since his death. They hear things in it now: a weariness, a plea for peace, a man trying to heal himself through rhythm and confession. At the time, people just thought it was a sexy song.
Make love tonight.
Wake up, wake up, wake up. Here's why this entry matters for our countdown. Marvin proved you could disappear, hit bottom, rebuild in exile, and come back stronger. That Grammy win inspired every R&B artist who came after him to believe in second acts. But there's a curse attached to that hope.
And stronger, and when I get that feeling.
3 artists on this list tried to follow Marvin's blueprint. They chased redemption through a comeback record. Only one of them survived the attempt. Number 6, Ain't Nobody by Rufus and Chaka Khan, 1984. Number 6 is where industry politics became blood sport. Ain't Nobody by Rufus and Chaka Khan. Grammy for Best R&B Performance by a duo or group with vocals. Except Chaka Khan didn't want to be in Rufus anymore. She'd been trying to leave for 3 years. Her solo career was taking off. The band felt like a cage she'd outgrown. But Warner Brothers Records had them locked in a contract. They owned Rufus, which meant they owned Chaka as long as she was in the group. So the label forced one more album, told the band, "Give us hits or we'll shelve your solo career, Chaka." She showed up to the sessions furious, wouldn't speak to the other band members, recorded her vocals separately, alone in the booth, while Rufus tracked their parts in a different room.
And in this feeling, I make my wish upon.
Ain't nobody came together in that toxic environment, and somehow, impossibly, it's joyful.
It's been so long. I need just what I.
Chaka's vocal soars, the production sparkles. It sounds like freedom, like celebration, like people who love making music together.
Thing I got is you holding me close.
All of that was fake. When they won the Grammy, Chaka thanked Warner Brothers in her acceptance speech.
Then you put your arms around me.
But people who were there said her smile looked violent, like she was baring teeth instead of expressing gratitude. She left Rufus permanently the next year. The band tried to continue without her. They released one more album. It sold poorly. They broke up. Here's what the music industry learned from this. You can manufacture magic from misery. You can lock artists in contracts, destroy their relationships, force them to work together while hating each other. And if the song is good enough, nobody will hear the suffering underneath. That lesson reverberates through the rest of this list. Because the #1 entry, it's a song recorded under conditions so brutal, so psychologically damaging, that one of the artists involved still refuses to perform it. And it's the most awarded R&B song in Grammy history. Number 5, Freeway of Love by Aretha Franklin, 1985. Entry 5 is the ballad that broke the rules. Freeway of Love by Aretha Franklin, Grammy for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance. Wait, didn't we already talk about Aretha? Yes, but this one is different. By 1985, Aretha's career had cooled. MTV wasn't playing her. Young R&B fans thought she was their mother's music. She'd gone 5 years without a major hit. Then Narada Michael Walden, a producer known for pop music, walked into the studio with a concept. What if we make Aretha sound young again? Not by changing her voice, by putting her voice on top of cutting-edge production. Synthesizers, drum machines. A sound completely opposed to the organic soul Aretha had built her legacy on. She hated it at first, told Narada it sounded cold. He fired back, "Oh, the young people like cold." They argued for 2 hours. Finally, Aretha said, "Give me one take. If I can't make this feel warm, we're done." She nailed it, made those synthesizers sound like a church organ, made the drum machine feel like a human heartbeat. The song became a massive hit. The Grammy win proved she could evolve. But here's the cost. Aretha spent the rest of her career caught between two audiences. Older fans wanted classic soul. Younger fans wanted modern production. She could never fully satisfy either group. That Grammy represents a turning point in R&B history. The moment when tradition and innovation collided, when artists had to choose between honoring their roots and chasing contemporary sounds. Several artists on this list faced that exact dilemma. Most of them chose innovation. One chose tradition and won the Grammy anyway, in what remains the most shocking upset in R&B award history. We're 3 entries away from that story. Number 4, Lean on Me by Club Nouveau, 1987. Number 4 is the collaboration that almost never happened, Lean on Me by Club Nouveau.
We are happy. We are.
Grammy for Best R&B Performance by a duo or group with vocals. This is a cover. Bill Withers recorded the original in 1972.
And I'll be your friend.
It's a gospel-influenced soul classic about friendship and support. Simple, timeless. Club Nouveau took that song and dragged it into the synthesizer age. Added drum machines, electronic production, a rap verse. Completely reimagined it. Bill Withers hated their version. Publicly, he told interviewers it sounded soulless and corporate, said they'd turned a song about human connection into a product. Club Nouveau won the Grammy anyway. At the ceremony, they thanked Bill Withers in their acceptance speech. He wasn't there. He'd refused to attend and didn't want to watch them win for what he considered a desecration of his work. Here's the deeper story. Bill Withers had walked away from the music industry in 1985, disgusted by how it treated artists. He was watching from home, seeing a song he'd written about friendship and community get turned into an award-winning commercial for synthesizers. Club Nouveau's producer said years later, "We didn't realize how much it would hurt him. We just wanted to make a hit." And they did. Lean on Me became Club Nouveau's signature song. Meanwhile, Bill Withers' original faded from radio. Younger listeners knew the remake. The classic became a footnote. This entry matters because it shows the dark side of awards. Sometimes winning means erasing someone else's legacy. Sometimes the Grammy goes to the version that sold better, and not the version that meant more. 2 entries left. One of them involves a similar betrayal, an artist watching someone else win for a reinterpretation of their work. Except in that case, the original artist fought back, and the fight got ugly enough to end up in court. Number 3, I'll Be Good to You by Quincy Jones featuring Ray Charles and Chaka Khan, 1988. Entry 3 is where the lies started catching up. I'll Be Good to You by Quincy Jones featuring Ray Charles and Chaka Khan. Grammy for Best R&B Performance by a duo or group with vocals. On the surface, this looks like a victory lap. Quincy Jones, the most successful producer in music history, teams up with 2 legendary voices for a joyful, celebratory duet. But the session was a nightmare. Ray Charles and Chaka Khan had never met before the recording. They didn't know each other's work particularly well. Quincy booked them for the same day, same studio, expecting magic to happen automatically. It didn't. Ray's vocal style is precise, controlled, locked into specific phrasing. Chaka's style is spontaneous, emotional, unpredictable. They kept clashing. Ray would nail his part in 2 takes, then sit at the piano getting visibly frustrated, while Chaka did 15 takes, trying different approaches. Quincy spent 8 hours getting them to sound like they enjoyed singing together. The final recording is immaculate. You'd never know they were miserable. The Grammy voters heard chemistry. They heard joy. They heard 2 icons vibing perfectly. All of it was edited together from separate takes. Ray and Chaka never sang at the same time. Quincy built the duet like a jigsaw puzzle, choosing the best individual performances and making them sound simultaneous. When they won the Grammy, they performed it together. It was the first time they'd actually sung the song side by side.
flexing the cash and breaking up the rules because I'm not with that style anymore.
Chaka told an interviewer later, "We rehearsed for 20 minutes. All then went on live television and pretended we'd been singing together for years." The performance was flawless. The lie was perfect. Here's why this entry is crucial. It exposed the truth about modern R&B production. The magic you hear on the record, it might not be real. The chemistry, the spontaneity, the emotional connection, all of it can be manufactured. And the #1 entry on this list takes that manufactured magic to its logical extreme. It's a song built from pieces, performed by artists who'd stopped speaking to each other. It won more Grammys than any R&B song in the 1980s, and one of the singers still has nightmares about recording it. Number 2, Back to Life, However Do You Want Me? By Soul 2, Soul 1989. Number 2 is the song that cost more than it earned. Back to Life, However Do You Want Me? By Soul 2 Soul, Grammy for Best R&B Performance by a duo or group with vocals. This record sounds effortless. Karen Wheeler's vocal floats over a hypnotic groove like she's half awake, dreaming the melody. The production is spacious, dubbed out, unlike anything else on R&B radio at the time. But Karen Wheeler wasn't dreaming, she was dissociating. The producer, Jazzy B, had a perfectionist streak that bordered on cruelty. He'd make Karen sing the same line for hours. Not because she was getting it wrong, because he was chasing a feeling he couldn't articulate. She'd ask, "What do you want me to change?" He'd say, "Oh, I'll know it when I hear it." The vocal you hear on Back to Life is from take 73. 73. Karen's voice sounds dreamy because she'd gone beyond exhaustion into a trance state. She couldn't feel her body anymore. She was just making sounds, hoping one of them would satisfy Jazzy. When they finally got it, she walked out of the studio and didn't speak to him for 2 weeks. The song became a worldwide smash. The Grammy win made Soul 2 Soul international stars. They toured relentlessly, and every single night, Karen had to sing that vocal she'd bled to create. She left the group in 1990, said the music industry had destroyed her love of singing, didn't release another album for years. Jazzy B told interviewers that Karen was difficult and ungrateful. He never mentioned the 73 takes, and never acknowledged what he'd demanded from her. This entry represents something important, the human cost of perfection. That Grammy-winning vocal exists because someone was pushed past their breaking point, and the industry celebrated the result without asking what it took to create it. Now we're at the final entry, the #1 song on this list, and I need you to understand something before we get there. What happened during those sessions makes Karen Wheeler's 73 takes look merciful. #1, Killing Me Softly with His Song by Roberta Flack, 1973.
And so I came to see him.
#1, the song that won 4 Grammys and destroyed everyone involved. Killing Me Softly with His Song by Roberta Flack.
To listen for a while.
Grammy for Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Best Pop Vocal Performance, Female and Best Female R&B Vocal Performance.
And there he was, this young boy.
4 Grammys, more than any other R&B song in the early 70s. Here's what you think you know. Roberta Flack heard this beautiful song, connected with it deeply, recorded a stunning version, and won everything.
I prayed that he would finish, but
Here's what actually happened. Laurie Lieberman wrote and recorded Killing Me Softly first in 1971. She based it on watching Don McLean perform the experience of hearing someone sing and feeling like they were narrating your life.
And strong, strumming my bass with his feet.
Her version went nowhere. Atlantic Records barely promoted it. Then Roberta Flack heard it, loved it, decided to record her own version. Lori Lieberman found out when she heard Roberta's version on the radio. Nobody had asked her permission, nobody had called to say, "We're covering your song."
Killing me softly with his.
Roberta's version became a phenomenon, so massive that people forgot Lori's original existed. At the 1974 Grammy ceremony, Roberta won all 4 awards. Lori Lieberman was not nominated for anything.
With his song.
She sat at home watching the broadcast, seeing Roberta accept awards for a song Lori had written about her own experience. But here's where it gets darker. The recording session for Roberta's version was hell.
Words killing me softly.
Her producer, Joel Dawn, had just been fired from Atlantic Records. He was producing Roberta's album as a freelancer, desperate to prove he was still relevant. And he pushed Roberta harder than he'd ever pushed anyone.
With his song.
Made her record vocals standing up for 6 hours straight to build emotional intensity. Wouldn't let her sit down between takes. Wouldn't let her drink water because he said it affected her tone. Roberta recorded that iconic vocal while her legs were shaking from exhaustion. You can hear it if you listen carefully. There's a tremor in certain notes, a fragility that sounds emotional but is actually physical.
Me softly with his.
When they finished, Roberta told Joel she never wanted to work with him again. They didn't speak for 12 years. Meanwhile, Lori Lieberman's career evaporated. She released 2 more albums. Both flopped. She quit music in 1976, convinced the industry had stolen her moment.
Killing me softly with his song.
Decades later, in a heartbreaking interview, Lori said, "I wrote that song about feeling seen and about someone understanding your pain through music."
Strumming my bass. Yeah.